My name is Rob Tibbetts. I'm the president of the Wadsworth Public Library Board of Trustees. And I would like to welcome you officially to the 100-year centennial celebration of the L.M. Everhard Public Library. It's nice to see. Yeah. It's good to see so many familiar faces and new faces. I know so many of you love the library like we love the library. And 100 years doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of things to go right to get to 100 years of service. And one of those things is a dedicated staff and strong leadership by the directors. And we certainly have that here. The staff meets patrons where they are and guides them to where they want to be, and they do that every single day. Another factor in getting to 100 years is a strong group of volunteers. And we have volunteers everywhere from the Board of Trustees, to the Foundation Board, to the Friends of the Library, to all the patrons who come in and work with us every day. So the volunteers are, but what makes this library special and what really brings it together and what makes Wadsworth so special is the sense of community that belongs in this library. There's no way we could have made 100 years of service without the strength and backing of this community every step of the way. You've always had our backs whenever we needed you, and hope to continue that support in the future. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here for the library. Now, if I can have your indulgence, we want to take a moment, take a deep breath, maybe close our eyes for a sec, and drift back in time to a moment when L.M. Everhard gave her first dedication speech. We're going to bring up Elena Tennant to reenact that dedication speech today that took place in 1926, 100 years ago today. Thank you.
Dear friends, we are here tonight because we are interested in our community. This is a sort of housewarming affair. We are here to see how our friends, these good books, look in their new home after having had occupied a rented house for so long. Those of us who have been interested in establishing a library in Wadsworth judged rightly, I think, in purchasing the books first, for books are more important than building. The library in America dates back to a time soon after the Puritans landed at Plymouth Rock. They founded a college and with it a library. But the organized effort for the plans of library improvement began in 1876 with the formation of the American Library Association. Library methods and relationship of the library to the community have undergone radical changes in the past few years. A Harvard librarian was asked some 80 years ago how things fared with him, and he replied, "Oh, rarely good. Every book is in except one, and I am on my way to go get it." It is our hope that this home will be attractive enough to induce both children and adults to come in often, to browse around and carry something to be read in the home. For it truly has been said that the library, along with the public school, is the university of the town. It is the business of the school to begin one's education, but not to end it. At their commencement time, the student is merely equipped with mental tools to go on with their growth in power and usefulness throughout life. But to grow, they must come in contact with new ideas and new information. Giving this contact is the business of the library. The library is an integral part in public education. We want it to be a place where the merchants can get information that will help them, where a child can get help in building an aeroplane or constructing a radio apparatus, where the parent can get help in conducting their home and rearing the children, and where the scholar and student can find help in their work. We want it to be a place where all classes can come for help and for recreation. You know, some people evidently consider a library to be a quite desirable and slightly useful ornament to have in their town, but which they themselves never enter. It is to be hoped that every man, woman, and child will get in the library habit if they haven't already. The library should be considered a public utility in the same way that the waterworks is a public utility. We want water. We do not wonder where we will get it. We turn on the faucet and draw the water. When we want information, ideas, inspiration, we have them on tap at the library. Why not consider the library a public utility even as we do our light and water plants? As a democratic institution, the public library stands alone. In it, all classes are on equal footing and no distinctions are made. We want it to serve the more intellectual members of our community, certainly, but the circle of its borrowers should expand until the less educated and less trained come within its influence. It should be not only the university, but also the secondary and elementary school. It is with some such ideal in mind that this property has been presented to Wadsworth. I have just one request to make. I would like the name of this library changed. I have protested the name in the first place. I know and appreciate the motive of my friends to perpetuate my name. I feel highly honored. I am proud of my friends and I do thank them. I know too that those friends who know me now will not forget. To those who do not know me, and to those who will come in the after years, my name will signify but little. I feel grateful to the citizens, too, who gave so liberally of their means so that this building could be remodeled and equipped to make it the real library that you see today. I have lived in Wadsworth for many years. I have watched it grow with interest and pride. Our residences, our places of business, our factories are on par, if not a little above, the towns of its size. The country and scenery around town in every direction is beautiful. We have fine churches. Our school buildings are better than most towns of its size. We have splendid musical, literary, and dramatic talent. I know you would agree with me if you could attend some of the meetings of our women's club, where every literary club in town and in the country can belong, and every lady, whether a member of a literary club or not, can become a member by posing a small fee. I think our Constitution could be worded in such a way that men could also become honorary members by posing a larger fee. And I know that they would enjoy the programs as well as receive a benefit. I love Wadsworth and its people, and I would like to honor both the town and its inhabitants by naming this building the Wadsworth Public Library. Thank you.
That was wonderful. My name is Daniel Slife. I'm the director here at Wadsworth Public Library. I should say I have the remarkable privilege to be the director here at Wadsworth Public Library. And that privilege comes from the fact that we're inheritors of relationships, of depth and commitment to this community and the work that we do that go back to our founder, Ella M. Everhart. Though we did try to change the name several times, her friends wrote the deed in such a way that that is impossible. So we will always be legally the Wadsworth Public Library, but we try to kind of stand in the middle and balance that by also just, going by Wadsworth Public Library in the common sense. But you get a flavor of what kind of person she was, and it's my sense that that's the kind of people that Wadsworthians were and that we continue to be today. I have more remarks later, but right now I just want to go through some recognitions here. Our board president, Rob Tibbetts, did a great job of talking about what it takes to make this library work, and I want to call to the board of trustees specifically the 7 volunteers, 2 of them are not available today, who give their time and effort without pay to be stewards and guardians of this library, to be oversight at a very high level to make sure what we're doing here is responsible and takes into consideration what we have inherited here and points it towards a better and improving future. And if you could just raise your hand, if you're sitting, please stand up. You already met Rob Tippett, our vice president. He's the president of the board until potentially later this month when the board has its organizational meeting. Vice President David Bartiromo, back over here. Secretary Todd Ferguson. Where are you, Todd? Todd Ferguson, Kristen Kavicki. Todd Gerber is out of town. Lisa Jones is unfortunately battling an illness, is with us here in spirit. And Chris Siever. Where are you, Chris? These folks are 7 in a long line of trustees who have volunteered their time back since the beginning. 67 total trustees in the first 100 years of the library's history. But I also want to recognize those who have previously served on the board who are still in town and still here. I see Mr. Norman Bragg in the back, if you'll raise your hand. Mike Kalura, where are you, Mike? John Haprian. Barbara Hillegas, are you here, Barb? Okay. Michelle Reese. Michelle's right over here. Bev Schaefer, did you make it, Bev? Okay. And last but certainly not least, Lucy Sandals. Folks, if we could give all of these trustees, past and present, a round of applause. They have seen this building through multiple renovations from when it was a house until it transformed into the beginnings of the modern building you see here today. In addition to that, the library has 2 really important sister organizations, the Wadsworth Public Library Foundation and the Wadsworth Friends of the Wadsworth Public Library. If you are a member, current or past member of the Wadsworth Public Library Foundation Board, will you please raise your hand? And how about the Friends of the Library present? Let's give those folks a round of applause. I want to make one special note about library staff members. We have here with us today the longest living staff member of Wadsworth Public Library, and that's Mrs. Ramona Smedley Slabaugh, and she's sitting right here in the front row. She was the 3rd ever employee of the library. And she is a lifelong patron and is still borrowing books from the library today, and you will find a picture of her when she was a student page, the first ever student page at Wadsworth Public Library, in the historical timeline that was made possible by the generous support of the Wadsworth Friends of the Wadsworth Public Library. If you'll look to the 1940s, you will find an image of Ramona there. So let's give Ramona a round of applause for being here today. Last but certainly not least are all of those folks who've worked here in addition to Ramona. If you're a current member of our staff, please raise your hand. And you can find them by their gray shirts today. Past members of our staff who've come to join us, please raise your hands nice and high. Let's give those folks a round of applause. The employees here at the library are where the rubber meets the road. They're the ones who are on the ground, meeting you where you're at, keeping the building not only well-stocked, but clean and welcoming. And we are constantly receiving compliments from folks who have different libraries, and I'm not going to name any names, but they think it's a remarkable thing that we have here. And I agree with that 1,000%, and that's because of the remarkable efforts of all of these folks, and that culminates in the work that our staff do here every day. I want to make one last note of recognition, and that's for the team that put together this event of staff, and that was led by our Deputy Director, Nicole Moore, who's hiding back there, because she, like Ella, doesn't want to be recognized. Dan Ciafani, if you'll raise your hand. Dan, Christy Earl, Amy Hydash, Kelly Potter, Sandy Reed, and Melissa Wagner. It's clear that they did a really phenomenal job. All I had to do was show up with this paper, and they did all of that wonderful work. Last but not least, I mean that this time, is really the community. what we do is just a reflection of the community. The remarkable thing is the people who live in Wadsworth that make this possible. We do this work because we're doing this work for you, and we do what you need. And that involves so many partnerships that we couldn't even name them all. But we would say primarily the Wadsworth City Schools, the City of Wadsworth, and every nonprofit organization that has ever existed in this community has both reached out to us and been a partner with us, and we've worked with them to help them fulfill what they need to do. This community's steadfast engagement and support are truly the deeper driver of our success over the years. And I want to give everyone here in this community a round of applause for making this happen. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium Dan Chafin, Director of Public Safety for the City of Wadsworth, on behalf of Mayor Robin Lawbaugh.
Thank you, Danny. As he mentioned, I'm here this afternoon on behalf of Mayor Lawbaugh. She is traveling today and is very sorry that she couldn't be here, but I would count it as an honor that I get to be a part of this today. This is really a special ceremony. And briefly, before I read the proclamation, I would just like to recognize Daniel. Daniel, I appreciate your humility. You talked about inheriting a legacy. You've recognized board members, you've recognized staff, you've recognized volunteers. But things like this don't happen by accident. They don't happen without leadership. And although you may have inherited quite the legacy, look around the room and look at the faces of the people that are here. This is what's happening currently. So I would say congratulations to you and thank you from City Administration on behalf of the community for what you're doing here as well, too. From the Office of the Mayor, whereas for 100 years, the Ella M. Everhart Public Library has been a cornerstone of our community, fostering a love of learning and providing a safe, welcoming place for citizens to connect, engage, and grow. And whereas from its humble beginning, loaning its first 200 books from the State Library and meeting in a room at Central Junior High School, the library has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to supporting the literacy of its citizens. And whereas after moving into the Dr. Thomas Leiter House, generously donated by Miss Ella M. Everhart in 1925, and constructing a larger facility in February of 1957, the library became known as Wadsworth Public Library, expanding its reach while continuing to preserve and celebrate the city's rich history. And whereas throughout its history, the Wadsworth Public Library has continued to offer educational programs and vital resources to juveniles and adults alike, welcoming citizens of all ages, beliefs, and backgrounds. And whereas this anniversary of the Wadsworth Public Library is a milestone that honors its remarkable past and invites our entire community to look forward together to a strong and vibrant future. Now, therefore, I, Robin Lawbaugh, deem it a pleasure to congratulate the Wadsworth Library on their 100th anniversary in the City of Wadsworth and encourage all residents to join in recognizing the Wadsworth Library's extraordinary century of service, its support of local events, and commitment to strengthening our community through service, unity, and generosity. Signed and sealed this 18th day of January 2026, Robin L. Lawbaugh, Mayor of the City of Wadsworth.
Thank you, Dan. I'd now like to welcome up Representative Sharon Ray.
I do have a proclamation from the state of Ohio. Unfortunately, I'm not going to read it because I think it's long and kind of boring. I did want to say, though, what a wonderful presentation. I had never gone back and read Ella Everhart's speech, but was it not wonderful? Did everyone sense the Wadsworth pride in that? I beamed a little bit. And for the young lady, Elena, that delivered it, it was just absolutely stunning. You did a wonderful job. Another round of applause. Everyone I know has a favorite memory of the library. Whether it be the magic of your first visit to where all the books live, the excitement of getting that allogram, now the library programming guide, or attending your first story time or educational opportunity at the library. The library is one of the few places that belong to all of us. A gift from our ancestors to be passed down to our children. I just want to say happy 100th birthday to the Wadsworth Public Library, and a special thank you to Ella Everhart for her gift that started it all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Dan. So I just have a few closing comments. By few, I mean just 2 pages. But I am a librarian at heart, even though I'm a library director, so if you'll indulge me. 100 years and exactly 3 days ago, this library officially opened its doors in an unassuming home on this very site. It's notable that Ella herself recognized her donation as a permanent and modest home for these books, trusty friends. She didn't boast of Wadsworth wealth or size of the community or library, but recognized that it was good and fitting, the work of many dedicated hands over many years, which she did not want to take credit for. Ella's message was simple: take up the library habit, by which she meant the habit of reading. Because she believed, as we continue to believe together, that lives are improved by access to a responsive public library. Amid many changes and evolutions over the last 100 years, this public library remains a modest yet remarkable thing. Standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before us with steadfast support from our community, today we commemorate a long tradition of service and stewardship rooted in our shared commitment to the power and importance of literacy. It's easy to forget or take for granted that the very technologies and communications media that nudge aside our reading time are themselves the breathtaking fruit of generations upon generations of minds sculpted and formed by the habit of reading. The question seems to be percolating for many: how will we maintain mastery over these increasingly powerful, mind and heart-shaping information technologies? Can we dispense with that habit of reading which brought them into existence in the first place? Is it optional? As we struggle to gain the undeniable benefits of our digitally connected world, the habit of reading stands in contrast to the ever-increasing demands our technologies are making on our time. The humble book invites us to unplug temporarily from the din of distraction. It won't send you a push notification. A book won't remind you that it's waiting, unless it's overdue, and will remind you. It won't speak unless you choose to listen. And this is how there is a freedom of will and depth of attention to be one in the habit of reading books that is not on offer anywhere in the so-called information landscape. We can dig just a bit deeper. Ella called those books friends and sought to give them a home. Here is a prophetic key from our own past, from our own local history, that we can use to unlock the meaning of the power of reading today, with the benefit of hindsight and a generation of the digital revolution now under our belts. We are in relationship with the books we read. And when we dive into the worlds that they call into our minds, something mysterious happens in the quiet and stillness of attention they demand of us. Without a picture, sound, scent, or other sensory aid, the sum of our personal life experience and character rise up through our imagination to constellate a world unique to us when we read. In this way, reading contributes to the filling out of who we are, to our self-understanding, the clarification of our values and vision, and seeing ever anew our relationships to all people and things outside ourselves. In short, reading calls our depths forward in a way which is rivaled by few other activities in our short lives. These things cannot be measured. They can only be known. Yet from this enrichment, other benefits emerge, some measurable. True innovators are, with great consistency, voracious readers. When the people in a community value and make time for reading, as in this community of Wadsworth, which my family and I also call home, work and play are infused with a creative and adaptable spirit. Social and economic life thrive, and opportunities abound. And when a public library develops collections, programs, and services as a platform for all people, regardless of income, background, or circumstance, to bootstrap their own deeper potential, the entire community is uplifted and measurable dollars are returned for each dollar invested. As we look with hope toward the next 100 years of library service in Wadsworth, we bring conclusions some modest updates and improvements to our building that recognize the need for ongoing adaptation in response to community needs. The project architect, Biloski, and construction manager, the Ruling Company, did a phenomenal job of bringing these projects to a close on budget and within an exceptionally narrow window of time. If our representatives from Biloski could raise their hand, please. We have Aaron Hill here, and Ben, and Sandy Tilburg, and the Ruland Company. I believe we have Brady Oakes. Where are you, Brady? Wadsworth resident Brady Oakes, and Deborah Paul. Where are you, Deborah? Deborah Paul, our project manager, who lives just over a stone's throw in Rittman. I lost my place. It's very scary to be up here, so you'll bear with me. Let's see. In a moment, we'll be cutting the ribbon on our new local history room dedicated in honor of Ella M. Everhart. We're going to put her name on that one. And introducing a stunning exhibit highlighting our first 100 years, as I mentioned earlier, in the front hallway there. Both of those projects would not have been possible without the work of those volunteers with the Friends of the Wadsworth Public Library and the Wadsworth Public Library Foundation over the years. The Friends supporting that timeline, and the Foundation supporting the digitization of all of Wadsworth's newspapers, which are now available, both here today for the first time in the library and from the comfort of your own home. Keyword searchable. It's fitting to end the ceremony where we began with our history. The new local history room marks the beginning of renewed efforts by the library team in partnership with the Wadsworth Historical Society and others to make the stories of our community's past successes and history accessible today, while ensuring that the present and future life on the ground in Wadsworth are documented for generations to come. It's our goal to ensure that the local stories are also told as friends near and dear to our hearts and given a permanent home alongside our friends, Ella's ancestors here on our shelves. On behalf of the library staff, our Board of Trustees, the Friends of the Wadsworth Public Library, and the Wadsworth Public Library Foundation, we thank you for being here today and hope you'll stick around to partake of the festivities. Thank you so much. We are now going to, if we could clear away, I know we're very tight here, but we're going to have the ribbon cutting ceremony for the local history room here. If our representatives from Ruland and Biloski, our Board of Trustees, and members of the Wadsworth Chamber of Commerce would make their way over here, we'll do the ribbon cutting, and then you'll be free to go.
Ready? Everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Brother. Oh.